Hello, everybody. Yeah, I mean, I just it should be a short video, and the question is, do we really even know what unity is? All right, so I'm gonna tell a story. It's not my story. It's the story of a group of POWs, prisoners of war, in Vietnam back in the 1960s. Okay, so I don't know if any of you have heard of the Hanoi Hilton, but it was a POW camp near Hanoi in Vietnam. And there were uh, pilots that had been shot down, and other soldiers and sailors and Marines and airmen that were kept at this POW camp. And they were given strict orders from the Vietnamese that they could not speak to each other, they could not look at each other. They had to bow to every Vietnamese soldier, prison guard, and civilian. If they ever came across any Vietnamese, they had to bow. Uh, they were fed one meal a day, I believe, usually just rice, and they were sometimes kept in solitary confinement. Um, and if they did get any roommates, they would be rotated out on a regular basis, so they were never allowed to establish any real friendships or relationships. They were not allowed to sing or talk or communicate in any way. But they did find ways whenever the guards were not around, they would tap. And so they actually had a matrix of letters and numbers, and they would tap, and however many times they would tap would be what they would spell out. So it was a painstaking process of communication. But through this process of communication, they actually would communicate on how to stay on code. So they had levels. Like at certain level, they would say, okay, you know what? We're going to go to level 3, which means we're not bowing to these guards anymore. We're not bowing at all day long, or forever how long we're at level 3. So of course the guards would get mad and beat them, and beat them with sticks or torture them, tie their hands behind their back, and pull the rope up uh, so their shoulders are almost breaking. But they would say, you know what, we're not bowing, and the guards were always curious as to how they were able to everyone in the whole camp, not just people in one cell, but everyone in the whole camp would all of a sudden would go on code 3 where they're no longer bowing, and it would scare the guards because they were like, how are they doing this? How are they communicating? And one of the guys that was a pilot that was shot down, um, his among his little crew or whatever, they started actually teaching each other classes on anything they had learned, like geometry or even carpentry or whatever. Anything they had learned, they somehow figured out how to start teaching each other. And one of the things this pilot was always wishing for was a pencil. And obviously in this world we have pencils, we have pens, we have digital pens, you know we have whiteboards, we have all kind of stuff, ways of communicating and writing stuff down. But in this POW camp, his dream was pencil. As a matter of fact, he dreamed about pencils. He would just dream about, like, he would walk into a room and there'd be just pencils everywhere, and he'd be so happy. And then he would wake up and realize that he didn't have any pencils. And then one day, I mean, years go by. They were there for 6 years, I mean, some people were there longer, but this particular airman or pilot was in this POW camp for 6 years. And one day he ended up with a pencil. Somehow he got a pencil. And he cherished that pencil. They they were able to teach their classes more effectively, you know. Somehow they were able to teach classes without getting caught. And there was only one pencil, and he cherished it. I mean, that was his prized possession. He did not want to give up that pencil. But they had a code, they had a meeting, they decided that, you know what, when we get something, either everybody gets it or we've got, I believe it was 30 days. And if after 30 days we have not figured out how to get everyone that thing, then we have to give it up. So when he got his pencil, you know, he was trying to figure out how he could get more pencils, right? But they never got another pencil. So after 30 days, he gave up his pencil. That is unity.